Expect to be working at this
No,
age?
no, no, absolutely not.
Never even thought of it.
No, no, not at all.
Do you feel put upon that you have to work?
Yes, yes,
You think it's unfair?
it is, most definitely. I mean, you work all your life, so this is what you look forward to, retirement, and you're thinking that you're going to be okay.
Former retirees have been returning to work as of late 2025, going to 2026. An article released by AARP shows that between August of 2025 going into February 2026, the first quarter of 2026, nearly 7 to 12% of formerly retired American citizens have went back to work. 1 in 8 retirees have went back to work or at least planning to go back to work as we get further into 2026. 48% of the people who are looking to return to work or who have returned to work after recently retired said they're returning to work due to cost of living. So why is this information pivotal? Like, why talk about it? Why do news, press, news articles, companies, bloggers, journalists talk about these type of stats, these type of numbers? Well, for me, and I think the number one reason is it shows that the economy has changed drastically. There's been a dramatic shift in people being able to not only retire on time, but also retire well. Now, the trend, which is negative, keeps people from retiring or from thriving in retirement. Although we're working until our 50s, our 60s, some of us in our 70s, it's still not enough. Wages been outpaced by inflation. We were able to work at a condensed amount, maybe 30 to 40 years and be okay. Now we got to work maybe 50 to 60 years, right? So I think that's astonishing. It's either two things. We didn't plan correctly. We didn't plan for inflation or plan to live at a lower means of life. Now we don't have a certain income. Our income is now subsidized due to retirement. People are thinking they could still spend a certain amount, although they are getting less than what they're making for retirement. That's something we don't really see or talk about. But the other thing is, the second stat is 14% of people still want to feel active. I guess they feel bored with retiring, which is a thing for me, because I'm like, how do you feel bored with life? How do you feel bored with autonomy, with breath, with being able to be active? And that goes into a whole nother conversation that I tend to have a lot to myself and whoever's around me. I'm just like, boredom. Boredom is a weird, strong word, you know? It masks probably confidence, insecurity, understanding oneself. There's a lot of people who like to be managed or like to be parentheses micro and parentheses managed, right? There's a lot of people who like to be on schedule, who like to go be at certain places at certain times. And I say like, and I use that word loosely because like probably represents, and I have a biased opinion, but like probably represents on the higher side of falling desensitized to programming. Because if we were born, and it doesn't have to be with a silver spoon, right, or a silver platter, however you guys want to term that cliche. We were born in an environment and around a community where people poured into us as kids, as teenagers, from a financial standpoint. And it doesn't have to be just with money, because you could be giving somebody millions of dollars and they don't know how to use it. It's giving, you know, that asset or those funds, those liquid funds, right? Or, you know, if you're putting it into real estate or some sort of stocks. But it's also teaching us financial literacy. If we were taught that at a young age, our mindset would be different around liking work or being bored outside of work. It would be different, guys. It honestly would. So I don't know if people think about that. Not who are obviously about to enter this demographic of 50 plus, 60 plus, who are looking to retire, or who's actually been the victim of this information. But people who are around my age, who are younger, who are in their late teens, 20s, deciding to go to college, deciding to do certain trades, right? Deciding to have a family, deciding to get into certain, you know, industries of work, deciding to buy certain products, buy certain assets or liabilities. Like people who are just deciding to do things where their current situation, their current choices are going to affect their future. Like, I I really want people to think about this stuff, man, because we think life has to be so hard. We think we have to go through the ringer like everybody else, and it's because there's not really a lot of thought-provoking people who are telling us no, we don't have to do it. But also, there's not people who are leading by example. Because you guys can watch this video or watch other people's video and watch gurus and watch Gary Vee and, you know, listen to David Goggins and all these TED Talks. And then you're going to turn off your phone or YouTube, whatever medium you're watching shit on. And then you're going to go about working your part-time, full-time, or your job where all you do is work and you work on the weekends and there's no work-life balance. Like, you're going to go back to your life and really don't have the time, the will, or the guts to find out how to take a little bit, 1% of the information you've heard, right? Because we're just not designed to do such. Although we are designed to do such, it's just someone interrupted the plan, right? Someone intercepted how we were made, man, which is crazy. Like, man took away basically divine will in us, took away dominionship in us to form a physical fake hierarchy where the economic divide is the 99% are the slaves, are the ones without, are the ones who look up, are the borrower to the 1%. And that's all we know. So it doesn't matter when we listen to certain things. Like, you know, most of us won't apply it. Most of us won't risk it and try it on our own. And I'm saying all this because the proof's in the pudding. We can't even retire at 60 anymore. And the people who are retiring, there's 52 to 58 million current retirees in the States. Just because they're retiring don't mean they're not struggling. Just because they're retiring or retired don't mean their health is still not at risk. Are we retiring still in some sort of glory? So there's two sides. There's the people who you can't even say successfully retired. There has to be a small number that denotes the fact that people can't even successfully retire at a certain age. Yet you can't even have people stay in retirement. So you can have people struggling on retirement, making only $1,000, $1,200, but they're doing everything they can to not go back to work. Then you have the other people who've tried retiring and they have to go back to work, or they're at least looking for work. And then you have people who probably don't even plan on retirement. No matter the industry, the trade, blue collar, white collar, essential laborer or worker, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you know? When you are at an age where you shouldn't be doing anymore, at least that's how the American dream or the standpoint of being an American citizen, working the opportunities of America was told and showed to us back in the heyday, early 2000s, mid to late 90s. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this information. Does this even matter? Does it, you know, if you're like 20 or 30, shit, if you're 50 and you're like, this is not me, well, does it matter? I won't say it doesn't necessarily matter if you had a plan or if you're going through something a little bit more smoothly, but understand the trajectory is all. Under being aware of where you live and your community is, I think, important. Just because you're going through something decent and you're making a way, 9 times out of 10, other people aren't. And so you can't assume that people are going to be doing the same thing you're doing. So it's good to understand and look at information from time to time, you know? Anyway, guys, if it's your first time seeing Black, hit a like, leave a sub, drop a comment. If you think this is going to get worse, there have been 3.5 to about 5.2 million people going back to work Q4 of 2025 throughout 2026 in the United States of America, the land of the free, home of the brave, the place of opportunity. Is it economics and financial literacy lack that allows us to not retire successfully? Or is it a system that's definitely showing that no matter what you do in that type of environment, it's not going to work? What are your thoughts, man and woman?